Okay.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Natalia, for agreeing to be interviewed and letting us and the community know a little bit about yourself.
My pleasure.
And we're here today also to learn how to host a brunch Portuguese style,
Yes.
which
I'm
I'm
excited about
about.
that.
I'm
Yes.
trying to practice social distancing
I know.
here.
6 feet. We have 6 feet apart.
This is a great spread, and Natalia is going to show us as well a salada de atum,
Yep, masala.
which is very typical Portuguese and one that I actually
Me too.
love.
Me too.
And I do it a lot at home as
Right.
well.
Especially this time of year, it's hot. You know, nobody really wants a lot of hot cooking, so it's nice. You just throw it together. Super simple, and I used a lot of the ingredients from my own yard, so it made it pretty simple to just throw it together.
That's awesome. And this is such a beautiful yard as well.
Thank you.
With all your herbs and the chickens.
Yeah,
and-
where the eggs
really
came from
great.
for the salada de atum.
And obviously anyone that's been around for a while,
Estrela
Estrela
do
de Mar,
Mar.
which I truly miss, and
Yeah.
the fados that used to happen.
This has great memories. This has
So-
nostalgia. You know, remember the basement at Estrela do Mar where we used to have all the fathers?
Right, my
Those are good
favorite. I used to
times.
love that.
I know, those are really good
Absolutely.
times. I miss those days. Those
Yeah,
are good
I
times.
do too. But time to go on, keep the old
That's right.
memories, improve on them, and try to do better, right?
Absolutely,
Sometimes
which is
we
what we're
can't,
here
but
to
we
do.
can Exactly. So to start, we know that the restaurant industry has had a little bit of a difficult time,
Oh,
and it's been challenging with COVID-19.
it's been
So tell me a
very
little bit about how it has affected your restaurant and overall a lot of the Portuguese restaurants and the restaurants around our
I mean,
area.
we're obviously not the only Portuguese restaurant that was affected. All of us were affected in all over the world. It's not just here in Rhode Island, but one of the issues that I'm having with this entire thing is that, you know, some people are feeling as though it's okay to continue to go on with life and not wear a mask and endanger other people. So when they come into the restaurant, we have a sign up at the door. And that's the one thing that I find most difficult these days, is to make sure that people walk in with their mask on, so they're not endangering the lives of our employees. Our
Exactly.
employees have gotten hit. No one is working full time. It's all very part-time basis. All of the hours have been cut down. There are some restaurants that are shutting down. They're not even opening again. So in terms of affecting restaurants, this is affecting restaurants greatly. We are down to only 35% of our overall business. That's tremendous.
Not even 50
No,
because of capacity.
because of capacity. And in our restaurant, because we're so small, capacity doesn't work for us. We can't do the 6 feet apart and make it so that we have all these tables. We don't. We've lost our entire middle section. We went from having 7 tables in the middle section to only having 3 in the middle section. The only ones that we are able to keep, you know, socially distant at a safe distance are the ones along the wall, and that's it. Otherwise, it's too much of a small place. The bigger places have more luck with that, but also a lot of people I've noticed don't want to dine indoors. They really want to do outdoor dining. I mean, look, it's affected all of us, really. It's affected everyone.
Absolutely.
Everyone's business has been affected. We're doing the best we can, and we just continue to strive, and we haven't raised our prices. We haven't done any of that, but I'm getting to a point where I see the need for having to do that, because we've lost so much business. We really have. When people just do takeout, you're losing a lot of the liquor business, and the liquor business is really what keeps a lot of restaurants afloat.
Yeah.
So when you lose that, you got a lot of loss going on there. And I know we're not the only ones, so I feel for all that are in the same situation as we are. I just hope that, you know, we can continue to strive to do better and move on.
Yeah.
We hope.
So Rhode Island Day of Portugal, we didn't have a festival this year.
No.
So a lot of us were bummed. I know I was, you know,
know.
but it is what it is, right?
I know.
Although I don't like that phrase a lot, but it is what it is.
We got to make it happen.
Yep. So what we would like as Rhode Island Day of Portugal is to bring our community the up and coming kind of like new chefs, new local businesses, kind of like feature them, and also show them that, you know, we're a huge community. We're a community that counts. We're a community that is always innovating, is always doing something, you know, improving upon
Absolutely.
whatever it is that we do. So we want to support the restaurants. We want to support the local businesses and our community. So hopefully those that are watching get a little bit of an inspiration
I hope so.
and the feeling that, you know, we do care.
Always.
So let's start by saying as well, give us a short little brief history bio of Dinis, like when did it first really open? And tell us about how you fit into the whole picture of you, Natalie, and Dinis, along with your initiatives that you've got going on.
Right. So, I mean, Udinese has been around for, years and years. And it started out as Ishtirala Dumad, as you know, as we had many events at Ishtirala Dumad, lots of family gatherings, lots of communions. We had weddings at Ishtirala Dumad back then when
I
it was.
didn't know that.
Oh, we've had weddings. We had weddings downstairs in the basement that we set up with fado and all that stuff. So, Udinese is Ishtirala Dumad, just in a different location. The cooks were the same. Everybody was brought over. I mean, I feel as though it's a really amazing establishment because we've been able to keep the integrity of our Portuguese culture, even in 2020, where a lot of us I know that a lot of restaurants have had to do some more of the American dishes
Like
in order to
adaptation?
appease other people. And one of the things that we strive on is continue on, our culture, maintaining the quality of our food and not changing it. So our fish is served whole, head to tail. I mean, that's the
Which
way
is
we eat it in
perfect.
Portugal,
Yeah, and
right?
it tastes better that way. You're
I
not
like
losing-
it better. Yeah, you're not
Exactly.
losing all that stuff. It tastes really great. I know it's cumbersome for some of the people to eat, but I've had to actually serve customers because they really want the fish, but they don't want all the hassle of the head, the bones, and all that stuff. So I've come over to a lot of people just because I really want them to enjoy what we enjoy in our culture. So I've come over and I've helped them along with cutting it up, and that really says something about our restaurant where we've kept everything in great quality. We're still small, and we're still small enough that we can go over to a table and we can cut up their fish for them. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
My father started this business in the 80s, and he maintained it throughout the 90s, sold it when I was probably about 16 years old when he sold it. I'm 49 now. And then he decided that he was going to take a little hiatus. That didn't work for him because he's a man who needs to be doing something. So Udinese came about, and he decided, I'm going to grab this place and I'm going to make it. And the name Udinese came about because in Ishtirala Dumad, no one really said, hey, where are you going tonight? We're going to Ishtirala Dumad. No, you used to say, where are you going tonight? I have Ali Udinese. And that's it. And that's how the name stuck. Udinese.
I forgot about that.
Right, and that's how it stuck, and that's what has happened all this time. So years ago, when I had my first child, I came back into the restaurant industry, and just little by little, I stayed a little bit longer. And it was almost like he was throwing out the line, and before I knew it, he had me hook, line, and sinker, and I was all in. And
Wow,
that's where it
great.
started. And I just decided that we were gonna take it the next level. There are some ups and downs with the restaurant business, as you know. Some years you do good, some years you do better. But luckily, for the last 10 years or so, we've been doing better and better every year. Granted, this year is not one of the good ones, but we're hoping that everyone stays safe and that we'll get past this.
True, and lessons learned, right?
Oh, absolutely,
Exactly.
lessons learned, lots of
So
them.
transitioning to the place where we find comfort,
Yeah.
where, which is home. Where is home to you?
I mean, I was born in the Azores, and I love the smell of the ocean. I love the smell of as weird as this sounds, the seaweed, those smells of the sea and the very misty, dewy weather in the morning, that fogginess. That all reminds me of, that to me is home. And so when we moved here to this area, one of the things I enjoy about coming home at night is that the ocean is not that far
Right.
away.
So you get that
can smell that.
yeah.
Those smells that I miss from, growing up on an island. So my husband's from the mainland, and we've traveled a lot to, Mexico, Portugal, here and there and everywhere. But I have to say, for me, I love Portugal. I love everything to do with Portugal. And when I was growing up, I didn't like it so much. I wanted to go someplace else. I wanted to travel to Mexico. I wanted to travel here, there, and everywhere, and I did. But in the last, I'd say, 20 years, I keep going back to Portugal more and more, and I fall in love with it. Every time I go, there's something new to see. There's something that I really, really fall in love with every time. It's either more food, more of like the culture, the history, the architecture. What's there not to love about where we come from?
Absolutely.
It's amazing. What an
Absolutely.
amazing country we come from.
Yeah. So, what cookbooks are on your shelves? I'm
Ah.
sure you have many
I do. I have
that
many,
are
many, many,
Portuguese
many.
cuisine, and
I have
I'm
many.
sure, like I have Portuguese, I have Greek, I have Persian, which I absolutely, all those three cuisines married
Yeah,
together.
absolutely.
And Asian, especially from Goa.
Yes, right.
You know, I absolutely love that. So what Portuguese book do you
I have to tell you, I have quite a few cookbooks. I have bookshelves.
Did you notice we're
filled.
getting closer and closer?
We're gonna stand aside. But I gotta say, this is my all-time favorite.
Oh
and,
my gosh.
It is super old. As you can see, it's super old. The binding is falling off. My mother has gotten to write quite a few recipes in here. This is her handwriting. She puts them. I put them all in the Portuguese cookbook because I'm obsessed with this book. I have to say that this is one of the books that I love going to because it is so old that it's very traditional Portuguese dishes.
Yep.
This is very traditional. And when we say traditional Portuguese dishes, we also have to say that, you know, Portuguese cuisine is a melting pot of lots of other,
Right.
you know,
The
cultures that
cultures,
we
yes,
have
because we
navigated.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
like Goa, India, Macau, Africa, and
Even
that's
Japan.
influenced.
Even Japan, because
Exactly.
in our language we have Japanese words.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and Arabic words. and,
Arabic
you know,
for sure.
so-
That came from
Yeah.
our navigators, and
Right.
so our cooking is a bit of all that put together. And I think that's why we have one of the best cuisines, and I think it's great that
Yep.
we're featuring our Portuguese culture out there.
Finally, yes. So what have you missed most during the quarantine time, and how did you deal with it?
Getting together with my friends, definitely getting together with my friends. So what we've done a lot of is we'll make cocktails and we'll Zoom. Everybody will Zoom together and we'll have cocktails over Zoom. But I miss that, you know,
Interaction.
the interaction with people. And I'll tell you what, the restaurant, one of the things that I absolutely find eerie, not now because we've been open for a month for indoor dining, but during the time that it was all takeout business, I miss the laughter of the customers. I miss the happiness of the customers. I miss that the warmth that our customers give us when they come through the door and how we make them happy when they're walking out. They're like, oh, thank you. We celebrated a birthday. We celebrated a milestone. We celebrated something. You know, that says something about the social life of all of us having to quarantine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things I miss the most. I don't know about anybody else, but yeah, I miss people.
Yeah, exactly.
Laughter.
The closest, we humans need socialization,
Yes.
and without that, we can become depressed. We can have mental, you know, setbacks. So a lot of people, the teenagers, are suffering
Yeah.
through a lot. So I can understand that. So
It's sad.
now that we can gather in more than 15 people, and
Very
even
excited.
15, we're excited. We want to celebrate birthdays, like you just
Yes.
said, and graduations, and you know, anniversaries,
Get them all
communions,
celebrated.
and all that. Yeah, let's celebrate them all.
Let's celebrate them all.
So one of the things that I find that is easy, that I find easy for me, is brunch.
yes,
So
absolutely.
I know that it's not a huge Portuguese tradition, but it's becoming actually in mainland Portugal. I don't know really about the Azores, but where brunch is becoming one of the up and coming things
You're right,
because it's easy. You get breakfast and you get lunch. And you have time to dilly-dally in the
Right.
morning. If you want to go to the beach, you can still go to the beach. Come and join the brunch and then have lunch. And then in the afternoon, you can still tend to your garden, mow your lawn, do whatever, right?
I love it.
So
Personally.
we have a really wonderful spread here
Yes.
of, let's say, a simple, traditional Portuguese brunch that's easy to put together,
It is.
not very expensive,
No.
and it's something that we can enjoy. For brunch, you could actually have wine if you wanted,
Yeah.
or just simple orange juice with even like I use for, instead of champagne for the mimosas, I actually use vinho verde.
Come on.
I've
That's
laid the
great.
vinho
That's
verde.
wonderful.
So you just put the vinho verde. It's got less alcohol content.
You're right, you're
It's
right.
still a little bit bubbly, but not too bubbly because some
Right.
people don't really like the champagne taste.
and it makes it nice and easy
Yeah, and it's
drinking.
fresh.
Right.
Right.
Very refreshing.
So,
especially for brunch in this heat.
Yep. And then with the fruits, I love, like you have the mint on the table
Yes.
right now. I love to put mint with like my cantaloupe, or even in the chickpea salad that you're going to use.
Yes.
I'll cut up the mint and I'll add it to what you're about to do as well.
I make a great chickpea salad
So,
too
yeah.
to accompany any protein.
So tell me about the spread that you put out for us.
All right, so one of these,
You wanna
so
start on
I
that
need
one?
to have a salad. Always have a salad. And the salad is, this is all from my garden, the whole thing, except for the olives, obviously. But the mint, the lettuce, all the lettuce, that all came from my garden. And then another thing that I need to do, that I like to have for a brunch, is the cheeses. We need cheeses, jams, presunto. We need the fruit. This is the marmelada, you know, the
marmelada,
quince spread.
yeah.
And this are berries from my backyard. These are blackberries from that tree back
Are you
there.
serious?
And my
Wow.
mom made this jam to go along with it. And I have to say, when you do salty with a little sweet and crunch together, I'm telling you, it's a super happy marriage in your mouth. I love it.
So what cheeses do you have here?
So this is o queijo São Jorge, this is o queijo Flamengo, and
Yep.
this is o castelões.
Os queijos da Serra.
Yes,
That's where
which
I'm from.
I love. Well, you have
You
to
have to
some
go
of that.
there.
That I
I'll get
haven't done.
My family actually has uma queijeira too. They do everything from scratch. They do not use rennet. They use the
Oh.
cardo still
Really?
to do the cheese. That's Serra da Estrela.
Oh, we
Queijo
have to
Serra
go
da Estrela
there.
tem que ter cardo. It's everything is natural. There are no preservatives. Nothing.
Oh, I'm
Everything
all
is
about
like,
that.
You should go there someday.
My
But
next
they-
trip, maybe we can
Serra
do
da-
that.
Mm,
A
let's do
video.
it.
That would be
Okay.
fun. And so last
So-
year when we were in Portugal, we had this amazing spread. My husband he's from there, and they all got together as a group, and we went to this restaurant. That this restaurateur did a great thing for us. And there's quite a few of us. I would say there was probably about 25 of us total. And what he did is he did it all like just plate after plate that came out family style. One of the things that he did, which I absolutely fell in love with, is this one, which
Ooh.
is alheira com ovos mexidos, which I absolutely
Wow.
adore. Actually, we could just move that out. Alheira com ovos mexidos was one of my favorites when I was there. And this is, first of all, it's easy.
So what does it have in the
So, alheira, so you
Yes.
have to saute an onion and a garlic. And Tiago, would you be able to ask for what to bring me out the platter with all the vegetables on it and the watermelon so I could show where that came from? So I have my own garlic, and I have garlic scapes, which are the top part of the
Yes.
garlic. So I chopped up all the garlic scapes with the onion, and you saute that up really quickly, and you get that to be very nice and translucent. Then you add all of the alheira. You know what an alheira is?
Yes,
A
yes.
smoked Portuguese sausage.
Yep.
It's done with game, and it has I like the alheira. I know I'm going to get some criticism for this, but I like the alheira better than farinheira. And
It's different consistency too.
yeah, it is different consistency. This has some game meat in it.
Yep.
There's there's pork, there's rabbit, there's things in it. And so you just remove it from the casing, and when everything is sautéing, like the garlic and the onions are sautéing, you cut up the alheira and you let it sauté in
Sauté
there.
inside.
I like to get my alheira just on one side to get super crispy, because there is nothing like picking up one piece of the egg that's scrambled into it and getting that crunchy alheira bit in it, or like crunchy, salty. It's so amazing. And then you grab the eggs, you beat all the eggs, and then you mix it into that mixture, but that you have to do on low and slow. So this is, I'm going to show you this.
You gotta stay there. I'll bring it.
So these are so this is all from my garden. So this is my garlic, which is in my garden. This is the top part of the garlic, which is called, it's like you could see a shoot coming out of
Yep.
it now. So this part is the garlic scape. This is what I cut up.
Oh.
This top part, this little top part,
Yes, yes.
all sauteed with an
I
onion.
wonder how many people throw that out and they don't realize that you can actually use
I
it.
hope not, because this is really good. And
Yeah.
I made a pesto out of this a couple of days ago. So this is my garlic. I have a couple more days, and this will be cured and it'll be ready to go. And I have a whole bunch more to pick. So these also came from my garden, which we're going to use in the salada de atum. The parsley, the cilantro did not come from my garden. That we're not doing right now. It's not happening. So that's it. You mix that up. You mix it in the pan.
That's
Once you
amazingly
have your
easy.
alheira, so easy.
So
it
the
takes
whole
10
spread
minutes.
was maybe not even 50
Not even
bucks,
50.
maybe?
Oh no, not even 50
The
bucks. Because a
whole
lot
thing,
of
like
it
the
came.
salad, this,
Well, this all
that.
came from my garden. The eggs come
But
from
even
my
if you were
garden.
to buy a salad mix, right? On average is about
I would
$3.
say for a family of 6, you can do this for less than $50. For sure, less than $50. You don't have to have all the cheeses. You can have less cheeses than that.
Right,
Because definitely
yeah.
the cheeses can be a little bit more costly than anything
Well,
else
yes,
going
that's
on. And
right.
the tuna can sometimes be pretty costly. This is
Especially
really
the
great
good tuna, 'cause you want
right.
good tuna.
Which is really good tuna, because
Yeah.
let's face it, you're going to be featuring tuna on this dish. So let's make that the star of the plate,
yeah.
because that's what's
Perfect.
happening. So,
And of course,
great olive oil from Portugal. Great
yeah,
olive
at
oil.
Whole Foods.
I know,
so
because they're there. It's there. I didn't
it's
have to
if
go
it's
anyplace
easy,
else.
like like for me, I live in
easy.
Western Coventry. So
that's
to
tough.
go and get Portuguese olive oil, when I go, I have to stock up.
Bring it all
But
together.
if I'm at Whole Foods, I'm going to get the Portuguese
Right,
olive
it's right
oil from
there.
Whole Foods.
It's
yeah.
easy.
Or even Dave sometimes has it.
Dave's does have it, and
So
I didn't
I'll
find it
get
to be
that.
that expensive.
Yeah.
It's $12. It's not that expensive. It's almost like
Yeah.
our, the brand. And I have to tell you, it's really great olive oil. I love the way it smells. It's got a really nice grassiness
Yep.
to it, and it is slightly acidic, which
Which
is
I like.
me
Yeah.
too. I
Yeah,
like
I
it
like the
acidic.
yeah.
So let me show you how to put this salad together, so we can have this done. But it's
I mean,
actually.
Ciabatta too. That's the sad part. We used to have a Ciabatta in Cranston, but
I
it
know.
closed.
I know.
So it's either now I have to go to Cumberland,
or
Fall
Fall
River,
River.
or Bristol.
I know.
Or Portugalia, which is all like 45 minutes away to an hour
That
from my
for you,
for me.
that's really.
So I miss that.
I
so
love
when I find
Portugalia.
Portuguese olive oil, it's
Stock
wherever
it up.
is.
Stock it up.
All right. So tell us how you're going to make the salad.
Okay, so the salad, the majority of the stuff that goes into the salad, what takes the longest is the prep. Once you have everything prepped, it's honestly dump and go.
Yep.
So you need to cook some chickpeas in boiling salted water. So I use
But
the
if you
boiling
didn't
salt.
want, you could easily do the canned,
Anything you
right?
want.
Organic
Yes.
can that doesn't have
Use
all
that.
that.
You don't
Just
have to
drain
do
the
that.
water,
Absolutely.
whatever. And,
Open up a can.
and
I
rinse it.
still do
Well,
put it in hot.
well.
I bring it to a boil, a really quick boil.
Yeah, you could do
I
that.
still do that, but that's like a can.
Yeah.
What was a can? 89 cents.
About that.
And
right.
this is also the Whole Foods. It's organic, but who
Right.
cares? So I do the
But
chickpeas.
it doesn't matter where, as long.
It
I mean,
doesn't.
It's
Chickpeas.
It's whatever people want.
And if you don't want to use chickpeas, don't use chickpeas. Use black-eyed peas. I love
Yeah,
the black-eyed
I
peas.
love
That's a
that
great
too,
one.
yeah.
This just
Not
happened
the
to come
band,
from my yard,
Black Eyed Peas.
which I also like. These are green beans that were also growing in my yard, and just because it's almost over, I only had like 12 of them left.
Yeah.
I wanted to use it, so I usually use whatever's
Okay.
left in the garden. I put it in the salada de tun. Obviously, you need the eggs. I use some that I chop up, and then I use the other ones for decoration on top. The tomatoes are for afterwards to put on top as decor. Now, this is what you will use
So what
to
more
bring it all
new is-
together.
And what
So,
more new is that?
this
Can you show?
is the olive oil. It's this olive oil with pimenta muida, which we
Yes.
all have in our house. You don't have pimenta muida? Come on, it's good.
I have the whole peppers and then I cut them myself.
Which is also very good. This pimenta muida, I got to tell you, makes this sauce really come together.
Yeah.
So it's a diced onion. So it's the diced white onion.
Yeah.
I do like a little bit of cilantro in my salada de tun. I like that little kick. Tons and tons of parsley. So it's tons of parsley. So in my garden, I have a whole lot of the scallions.
Yes.
And it's the ones, I didn't go out and buy a plant. I went to the market and there was a bunch there. I grabbed the bunch. I cut all the whites off, a really, good amount of the whites, probably like 2.5 inches off the bottom. I kept all the tops. And then I took the bottoms and I stuck them in the ground.
and they grow.
Now I have all these
Yeah.
green onions. So green onions, parsley, cilantro, crushed red pepper, and there's the onion. So then you're gonna do red wine vinegar and olive oil. You need a lot more olive oil than the red wine vinegar. That you definitely
But
do.
if they didn't have red wine, you could usually white.
You can use
wine,
white,
right?
you can use
Okay.
that, and also if you have, the apple cider vinegar, that works well too, that's fine. So this is honestly, it's dump and go. It's just take and you have to use, as I said, the really good tuna. So this is one, but you can get lots of other tunas. There's really good tunas all over
So
the
this
place.
is bone meal, okay.
So we're gonna put the tuna, and I like the tuna in oil because I just think that tastes so much better. So dump everything. Everything goes in. You just dump, and you're going to toss it all together. And then we're gonna put it in a pretty platter.
And you have tomatoes, but if people didn't like tomatoes for it, they could use red peppers, right?
Absolutely, red peppers
Or even roasted red peppers.
Something that I love to put in mine is the fire roasted green peppers. You know, salada
Yes.
de pimentão.
Oh, yes,
I love
yes.
the salada de pimentão.
Vai também bem com sardinha.
Right, well, that's one of the things I really like to do. So we just dumped all of that in here. That sauce has the, I don't know if I said that they had garlic in it, but
Yes.
there's garlic, onion, all that stuff. So you're gonna toss it all together, and you have to toss it really well, and you make sure that everything is well incorporated. Oh, you know what I'm missing, Tiago? Just the potatoes. I have a container of potatoes. Sometimes I use
Poor
potatoes.
Tiago, he's
I
on
know, right? My
videography,
son.
And we keep asking him to go and get
My
stuff.
son is getting all kinds of things for us, which is fine.
He'll get credits.
Yeah, let's give him credits. Sometimes I don't use potatoes. I have to say when
See, I like it like that. Yeah.
I'll eat it
And
just
then I'll
like
just
this,
put it
and
on
I'll
a
put
salad.
on top of salad. That's me. But then when you have the kids at home and you have the husband at home, I use the potatoes, and another thing that I'll use is, this year I didn't do carrots, but sometimes I have carrots, and the carrots that you have in the garden, they're much more tender than the other carrots.
Yes.
So I throw carrots in as well, and sometimes peas. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. So the potatoes, just dump it.
Dump it?
Dump it. It's a dump and go. Now, when the potatoes go in, you have to make sure to not break it up so much. So you just have to try not to break it up. So this is pretty good. So this is at the point where I think I want more sauce, I want less sauce, or I just want to add olive oil. In this case, I'm going to add all the sauce. And then we toss. Oh, and it smells great already, right?
I think I might go do that for dinner tonight.
And so you just put it into a pretty dish, which we have here. Put all this stuff over there. And it's the tomatoes. I usually don't add the tomatoes into the salad. I usually add the tomatoes on top as like a decoration. And also the other eggs go right on top. So there's that. We're going to,
Oh, it looks delicious. It looks beautiful too.
right? We're gonna add our parsley, tomato all over, and then you're going to add your olives, because no salada de atum that's Portuguese
Any dish does not
have olives. And so I just put this all
Azeitona.
around.
Did you know that olive oil, the word azeite, comes from the Arabic word zait zeitona? Yeah, so a friend of mine, she's from Iraq,
Wow.
and she didn't speak very well English, and she said something about, I asked her about a recipe, and she said, you put zait zeitona, and I went,
Zait zeitona.
I said, what did you say? Yes, olive oil is zait zeitona. I go, in Portuguese we say azeite de zeitona, or azeite
That's
de
true.
zeitona. So it's like, there's an Arabic
Yes, there is.
wording. So I find that amazing.
My aunt, who is a linguistics major and graduated from Harvard University, some time ago said, you know that word that we say, Oshallah?
Yes.
We say that a lot,
It's the
Oshallah.
yep.
It's what the Arabics used to
Say,
for Allah.
willing.
Right.
Yes.
Isn't that
Yes.
amazing? It's,
Yep.
it's the things that we learn.
Exactly.
And the
Oh my-
melting pot that our world is, and
Yes.
our culture is pretty amazing.
I
So that's
agree.
it. We've got it. This is our salada de
Absolutely
atum à portuguesa.
Beautiful. Look
Isn't
at
it
that. So wait, I'm looking at your apron,
Yes.
which I was like, oh, I like that.
Isn't that
And
a
I
fabulous
noticed
tie?
NPN. What's that?
Natalia Paiva-Neves.
And what is Natalia
That's me. I am Natalia Paiva-Neves, and I'm embarking on a new venture. And I am starting a website and a blog, and I have a YouTube channel, and I'm just trying to get my feet wet and get out there, and this is one of the ways that I wanted to start. So this logo was started a long time ago, and I wanted to keep the integrity of the fact that I'm Portuguese, and that is my culture, and I wanted to keep it so that it was, something from my culture. Well, what's from my culture? Well, it was azulejos, so I wanted to
Exactly.
make
That's
it so
really
that
pretty.
it's like a tile. And this is not a screen print. This is embroidered.
Embroidered.
The entire tile is embroidered. And you can see that there are fish on it. Those are little fish. There's wine glasses, there's wine bottles, and it just makes it so that it's like
I like
a
it.
tile.
Very nice.
And then it's got my name on it, which I thought was cool, and those are my two favorite colors. So we are going to put
I
this
think
on
most of us
pre-orders.
Portuguese like the blue,
The
and
blue
white
because
and yellow, right?
it's part of our history, our cousas leis,
Yeah.
in Lisbon, all
Oh,
those beautiful buildings
even
with those tiles.
Exactly. The Azores, the most beautiful, like Igreja de Cristo.
Yes. And all their hydrangeas.
Yes.
My
yes.
wedding flower were hydrangeas. Probably because I'm from the islands. It's just
Yeah.
something I'm drawn to. So my wedding bouquet and all the bridesmaids, everyone had a
Absolutely
bouquet of
gorgeous.
hydrangeas. Yeah.
Well, this was great. Absolutely
Isabel.
amazing.
Thank you for
It's
doing
very
this.
simple to do, cost effective,
Very cost
traditionally Portuguese. You can mix it up for those that might not like tuna.
Yes.
You can have other
Bacalhau.
spread.
You can make the
bacalhau,
exact same thing with bacalhau.
Right. Or the carne de porco desfiada.
Absolutely.
As
Or
long as it's
galinha.
cooked, galinha,
Yeah.
chicken, you could do that. So there's
Play
what,
with it.
This is great. They take me back to Évora when I went to visit. That every time I go there, I have to have my salad bacalhau. So.
You're right. I love it.
But Rhode Island Day of Portugal really thank you.
Thank you.
We are so appreciative of our community, everything that our community stands for.
Yeah.
You know, the strength, the courage, the innovation. You know, sometimes it's hard for us to get out of our comfort
This is very
zone.
true. That's
But
true.
when we do, we excel. I think we excel at what
It's
we set
true.
our mind to, and we encourage, you know, people to just, if you have a dream or whatever,
know.
just
Well, that's
come
what my
out.
father did. That's
Exactly.
exactly what he did. He came
Yeah.
to this country with nothing, and he started with nothing. He was working at Academica, peeling potatoes, and he was working as a dishwasher. And that's how this was
Yeah.
created. That's how Estrela do Mar came to be. But that is not without hard work. It was
Absolutely.
incredibly difficult. It was many hours, and I think sometimes people lose sight of the fact that you have to work very hard to get to a good place in your life. But every year it gets better. So if the Portuguese community comes together, another thing that I've noticed in our Portuguese community that's going down is that the feasts, do you remember the feasts?
yes,
How wonderful they were.
they're very less and less every
Yes.
year. And I don't know if that's maybe the younger generation that's not pushed. To attend.
I think.
Like I grew up with it. Oh, nós vamos à festa.
I know.
Right?
What
Whether
was
you
our
liked
big
it
thing
or
on the
not.
weekend? A festa.
Yeah. Okay, where's the next one? You know,
Where are we
like,
going? Who's got the best food? Who's got the best band? Oh, this band's playing at Cranston Portuguese Club. That's the one we're going
right,
to
or
this
Club
weekend.
Visitana, or
Yes.
you know,
Good
Phillips Street
time.
Hall,
Phil Street Hall. Good
all
times.
that. So
Good
it's
times.
great. Thank you. This
Oh,
concludes our
thank you.
episode.
Thank you.
We are trying to bring you our community little events like this. So stay tuned for the next one that we will be featuring. Hopefully the next week or the week after. Thank you very much.
My
Really
pleasure. Thanks,
appreciate it.
Isabel, for thinking of me.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it.